My motto is expansion, always in all ways.
New York City, it's the most exciting city for real estate, and that's why I'm here.
I'm the closer and the listing machine. What makes me better is that I work harder than anyone else.
Whee! We're friends now, right? I don't need him, and you don't either.
This will never end.
3, 2, 1.
This is the Mac Media Show.
To the Mac Media Show, my name is Mac.
And I'm Ree.
And this is the Me and Ree Review Show. We are the two that review for you, America. This is a great episode of $1 Million Listing New York, and I'm going to start the show off a little bit different this week. It's episode 5, titled Walking on Eggshells. And I'm going to read a brief synopsis of what happened, just as a reminder if some of you forgot. Frederick and Ryan's chummy relationship is tested, both personally and professionally, as Frederick and his husband Derek surprise Ryan's fiancée, Emilia, with a provocative request as business complications threaten to derail Frederick and Ryan's co-list. At the same time, it's the race to finish line with Ryan's Russian buyer Arty. Luis, meanwhile, is painting a beautiful picture out of his new listing after learning the apartment once belonged to a famous artist. What did you think, Ree, of this fantastic episode of $1 Million Listing New York, episode 5?
Oh, I loved it. It was great.
I thought so, too.
It was great. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had a lot happen. Frederick and Ryan were working on a co-list, and something interesting happened. I had a little fallout with a contract. Yeah. And I'll give you my opinion. I have a theory on that, Ree, and we'll talk about that. They asked Emilia, they had her come over to the house and asked Ryan's fiancé for her eggs so that she would donate her eggs for their baby. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
So in that case, how do they control whether it's a girl or a boy? At that point, you can't,
I don't think
right?
you can.
Because there's no...
I don't think you can. I mean, I'm not real versed
Which was
in
our original thought, so
yeah.
It may still be a surprise.
No, I think you can kind of determine genetics. Like you heard him say...
different traits.
You would make a great mother. You're very sweet. You have these characteristics. Yeah. And somehow the genetics may be passed through, but other than that, I don't think you can say I want a girl, I want a boy. I don't know how advanced that is.
So they were working on that co-list. And at the same time, he's also working with Arty, a Russian buyer.
Yeah.
Obviously, a wealthy person.
Yeah, really.
$19 million apartment.
That's unbelievable.
Actually, I'm sorry, $21 million.
Unbelievable.
Last week was 19, so $21 million. And Luis was working on a not-so-fantastic house, but a house with a lot of history.
Yes.
And an artist named Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
From the 1950s. Unique marketing strategy for Luis. And we'll talk about that too.
Great.
So there are 3 big things I want to talk about, and I have a theory. Let's talk about the eggs first. How about it? Jump right in.
You're going to put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
Yeah, my theory is Ryan became pissed off. Frederick became a little upset when Emilia, because we did find out, we didn't see it on camera, but Emilia told them no, which I thought was interesting. So he gets a little upset when Emilia tells him no, and all of a sudden his attorney screws up the contract, and they no longer work together. I find that a little interesting. The timing...
it can go the other way, too, though. If he really wanted to get her on his side, doing the co-listing with Ryan would have been a plus. So I'm kind of thinking that it's legitimate with the... with the attorney, but then from the past history that Frederick, he screwed him on that apartment building that time. He totally lied to him.
Well, there are two possible, and you're right. I'm glad you brought that up because the second theory is that due to their personal relationship in the past, Frederick just used him for his opinions on what to use inside the house, wasted his time.
Sort of looks that way.
And then sold the apartment using his floors and the suggestions that Ryan made as to how they would stage the place. And then just let him go and didn't work with him, didn't get paid at all. Something not out of the ordinary for Frederick because he'd done it to Ryan in the past. So that's the second theory. Both are not good for Frederick.
Right.
Which makes me question his intentions just a bit.
I don't understand why.
This seems to be a pattern.
I don't understand why Ryan didn't say, before I talk to you about this apartment, let's get the paperwork done.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, especially since that Frederick had already done him wrong the first time. That would be my way of doing it.
Yeah.
And I'd say, okay, as soon as we get the attorneys to send the papers over and I sign them, because you notice through the episode he kept saying, have you seen those papers, talking to his assistant? And he'd say, no, they haven't come yet. And so, I mean, it may be legitimate that happened, but Frederick has been known to be underhanded a little bit and tell just out lies.
Yeah.
And so I would have had, if I'd been Ryan, I would have signed the papers before I had anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah,
and the third theory, equally as negative for Frederick, is that he just didn't care that much to work with Ryan. So if it was the attorney, he didn't push.
He didn't push to do it. Yeah, because there are ways to do that.
Oh yeah, if you want something done, Frederick will get it done.
He never said what the real detriment was.
Never did.
So it must have been something in Frederick's favor, is the way I look at it. And he didn't want to push anymore.
And shortly after he sold, 5 of the, or was it? It was every building.
Everything but the penthouse.
Everything but the penthouse. Yeah, I can't remember how many were in the building.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's just convenient timing. I don't like that, because I'm reading Frederick's book to sell. It's a great book, and he knows.
Would you recommend going and getting it?
I would.
If you were interested in real estate.
Absolutely, one of the better books I've read, and gives a lot of information, and it's for every industry, not just for real estate. Applies to across industries. And
is it mainly about sales?
It is. It's the sale. It's the negotiation. It's the branding of yourself. Your image, what you wear, how you say things. It's not what you say; it's how you say it. Things like that. And it's informative. It's great. It's information that goes across industry. And so for many people, it's a good book. But it's, I don't want to say disappointing, but it is a little disappointing if what we're seeing on TV is real, in that he does some shady business, which obviously he doesn't write about in the book. And I see it quite a bit. So it must be an important part of his strategy. So I'm like, I start to question,
is the book right, or is he right, or real?
Right, or can you achieve the kind of success that he has without being a little underhanded?
Yeah.
Because we hear Ryan say, everything he has is because he,
kind of manipulated,
been shady in the past. Yeah. And so I don't know. It's kind of interesting, and it's a little disappointing seeing that on TV. But it could be
TV,
could be nothing, or it could be really a real attorney problem, which.
Well, it could be television. You remember we are watching a television show.
That's right.
And for them to be, completely by the book and straight-laced all the time, people are not going to want to continue to watch it. So it could be just to put a little spice between them to keep things going.
For me, the appeal of reality TV is not knowing what's real and what's not.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Of course, you know what's real on Andy Cohen.
Yeah.
He's pretty upfront.
Yeah, he'll let you know.
But what is it, Shotsky?
You love that.
I love that. I think that's so funny, Shotsky. He's a piece of work. But I thought this was a really good episode. It was so interesting, and I loved what Ryan said when I think he was talking to Frederick about, the contract was not going to come to fruition and that kind of thing, and then Frederick hit him with the egg thing. He said, "Do you go around asking everybody for their eggs?" and then he goes home and he's talking to Emilia about it, and she said, "Yeah, there's these 2 great guys, and I'd like to help them, and that kind of thing." And he said, "Yeah, but one day we want to have kids." And he said, "Well, I guess what we could do is we could have a child. If we didn't like it, we could give it to them."
Right? Yeah.
I thought that was cute.
Yeah, that's great.
He's funny.
That was good. And he says, if you don't want to do it, I can't remember what he said. If you don't want to give the eggs, that's fine, or something. But he said, if you do, just tell him that you'll do it, but for $10 million.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I thought, man, that's great. Yeah, not a bad.
Hey, I would charge for it.
Not a bad business.
She's got to go through a lot of mess to do that. It's not easy.
You bet.
So I mean, it sounds easy, but it's not.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But it was a great episode with Ryan and Arty. I thought
let's
it was
talk about
so good when he said, he took him in there and said, "Look, you can't bring these girls to this thing. They can't be jumping on the beds, and these are professionals."
I feel like the whole segment between Arty and Ryan was set up.
I think it was too, but
Felt
it was
terrible to
fun
me.
to watch. But,
It was cool.
And then again, it may not have been because Russians are different from us, but and especially people that have money just they throw everywhere, and I just can't imagine the girls going in there though and going through the refrigerator.
No
I mean,
way.
that's a little
way.
unrealistic
And
to me.
with
It was.
the-
But it ended up. He was funny because when he was talking to him, he said, "Well, I take offense at that, Ryan." And Ryan was telling him he can't take the girls anymore. Let's be serious, all that, and told Ryan to loosen up. And Ryan said, "Just remember, I didn't call you. You called me." And of course, then he says, throws a thing at him. I can get another realtor anytime. And he said, "I think we need tequila." And so, it's all about tequila with him.
Yeah.
He must have made his money in tequila.
He did.
Oh, did it say
did.
that? Because I never knew. But anyway, that was interesting. And then he took him out and did the race car thing. I thought that was staged.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And it gave...
I just wonder, though. Oh, man, I wonder if the producers set that up, or if Arty, who knows he's going to be on TV, wants to promote himself a little bit.
Yeah, they kept showing the club.
And
it was Monticello or Monticello, I don't know how you say it, Motor Club.
And he mentioned, he mentioned in the show, too, that he had a line of tequila or whatever.
Well, when you think about people being on there and saying that they will be on TV, because they have to get all that signed before you put them on television if they've got something to promote. It's just like going on Jimmy Fallon or anywhere else. They get a promotion as a byproduct of being on the television show.
Well, that multimillionaires, or even, I don't know if Arty's a billionaire, but sometimes they're very eccentric, right?
Eccentric. Exactly. That's a good word. Yeah.
And so I wonder if Arty did that on his own, like if he went to the producers and said, can we race and can we do these
probably
things?
Did.
Or if the producers came to him, because if he orchestrated that whole thing, if Arty did, I know the producers are saying, wow, we got a good character here.
Yeah.
Or I just can't, I don't know. I wonder how the production part of all of that process works. I'm just interested in behind the scenes stuff.
I think Arty probably promoted it.
I don't know.
Honestly.
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think he would have.
I could see it because that's what they do best, So anyways,
yeah.
that was a cool segment.
That was really good, yeah. I enjoyed all that back and forth with them.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, one thing I noticed when Luis, at the beginning of the whole show, he went to the West Village, which, not living in New York, I'm not exactly sure. I'm learning where all the different areas are and everything, when I go. But the episode was, or that particular loft, which ended up being the one with the Jackson Pollock, history, was, I noticed that was the same street that my favorite movie was filmed in, and that's You've Got Mail. I love that movie.
I like that movie.
By that awesome producer, director, Nora Ephron, but she's passed away now, but she was awesome. She did a lot of good movies, but I noticed it was along that line, that West Village is maybe where they had done all of the filming for that movie. I don't remember, but it was a nice area, real nice area. I loved it being older. I loved it being, he thought at first it was going to be tough to sell because it's a walk up. It doesn't have amenities. Yeah, it was awesome.
You know what? Here was my theory when I first heard that an artist, when they were talking in there first, I thought there's no way when he walked in there, I said, what is the reason that he took this listing? Because it's a low price. It's it's a tiny commission compared to some of the things he does. It's West Village, so it's where it is. And I'm thinking, okay, what is he here for? There's got to be some more value to this. My theory is that they set up the little negotiation there so that he was surprised to hear that artists have lived there, right? But I feel like he would never have taken that listing without knowing that artist lived there. Because otherwise, there's no value. That it's going to sell less. It's going to be a waste of his time. The reason that he took the listing, I think, is that because he had prior knowledge, before even meeting with her, that an artist had lived there. It had more value than just the house itself. it had all kinds of, think about it, the huge line of people out the door were there for the art. The appeal was the artist.
Right.
So all that was publicity for Luis.
Sure.
People coming to they have houses to sell.
Sure.
So maybe that was a stunt for him, right? He took the listing so that because he knew that he could get a line out the door if he put less. So I don't think it was a surprise to him to find out that an artist had lived there. I don't think the first time he got knowledge of that was when they first met.
Well, maybe
I think
not.
he knew of that prior.
Well, maybe,
which
maybe
I think is
but,
so interesting.
But it makes it more legitimate for him, and he used it totally to his advantage, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
But one thing I would have done is, I think under one of the rugs, I would have had some splattered paint somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd have just done that.
I
and
mentioned
said,
that to you.
You know, this was it, and they're not taking it up, and
Let's throw a little.
Theory
in the corner,
is not
right?
say it is, but say theory is this was where he was, painting at one time, and we have this picture of him in this living room, or something like that, and so I think I would have done that if I'd been Luis, just to make it a little more interesting,
right?
Because he did ask her if there were any paint, if they ever found any.
He said
paint.
everybody's asking.
Yeah, and I would have done it.
Shoot,
I think I would have done that.
You bet.
But anyway, it was interesting. She had not lived there for a long time. She said she had been renting it out. So she had not even been living there. So anyway, I thought that was great for him. I was happy for him.
Yeah, it was
because he
cool.
lost, last week, the Joneses, the big one.
Yeah.
And he tried really hard in that area, and I think they were in Harlem there. But I was glad he had an advantage here a little bit. I like to see him win.
It was nice to see a bidding war too.
Oh yeah, that was awesome the way he did that.
It was a good marketing strategy.
That was a great
winning
marketing
low.
strategy. Yep.
He's got the appeal of the artist already.
So he knows he's going to get multiple bids.
And you know you're going to have a line out the door.
That was awesome.
Yeah, smart guy. Smart marketing strategy.
Very good, Luis.
Anticipation and
Tweet me and let me know if you heard me.
Yeah, that was good, Luis. By the way, Luis, I had somebody tweet us.
Oh yeah.
Somebody is on the prowl.
Oh yeah.
She wants you. She is trying to get in touch with Luis. She is single and ready to mingle with Luis Ortiz. So
you
Luis,
set the stage last week when you were out there dancing romantically with this lady with the sun setting and the wine and the looks and that you were giving her.
Yep.
Said she just you reeled her in then.
You caught you. He caught you. So go back in the tweets, Luis, and look for that one.
Yeah. And, maybe we can make a love connection through $1 Million Listing, and Luis will end up happily ever after.
I will ask for a commission in that case.
Yeah. But it would be interesting to see you find somebody, Luis, that you really would enjoy.
How about Luis's assistant? They are putting her
Ronita?
on TV. Ronita
she's good. I like her.
She is becoming a new character.
I like her.
And and she's milking it. I love it.
Yeah, but not in a silly way. She's doing good though.
But she's tried to create a little character and personality and
I think it's great. I love it.
It's cool.
I love it.
It is really cool. I found out that Luis, I think now has a team. He had talked about in the last episode he wants a team.
Yeah.
And he doesn't yet, even in this episode. But on social media, you're able to look into the future because this was all filmed about a year ago.
Oh, that's right.
And now I do believe he has a team. At least he had some people more than Ronita go with him to I watched him on Periscope yesterday, and he was at an event with a team. So I'll be interested to see if he works on finding more people for his team. So anyways, thought I'd mention that.
And I think that's going to help him in business-wise too.
Last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Frederick listed had a showing without AC.
No, I was
that
to mention that.
I mean, did he know going in that was, or was the AC broken?
It was broken. He said when he got there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it had been installed, but it was broken.
Right.
But he told everyone that.
Right. Yeah, and he was funny. Everybody was sweating, and they were trying to move on to show all those places, and he walked out in the hall and said in Swedish, I'm sweating like a whore in church. I just died laughing. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Because he was, he starts unbuttoning his shirt, and he says, they need a little Swedish tanned body, to look at. I'm like, oh gosh, you gotta be kidding me. That was so funny. But,
that's great.
But it was good. He did good on that. But something else that we didn't mention was so impressive to me was when Ryan took Arty to that guy, I don't know who it was, that was showing the penthouse what it would look like.
How about that?
Oh, that was awesome when he shows it on the wall, and then all of a sudden he says, okay, snaps his finger and opens a curtain.
Technology, yeah.
That was just neat. And I wanted to mention that. That's really, wow, if that's the way real estate's beginning, that's just unbelievable.
One thing I've noticed on Twitter, Ryan has said he's putting a lot of time into virtual reality.
Oh, really?
He is working on new technology with a group of people so that you can have a virtual showing.
Wow.
You can walk around, feel like you're in, and the place hasn't even been developed yet. Yeah.
Oh, so the ones that aren't developed, okay. I
Right.
thought you meant like in the office you would sit and he would do them all that way.
Well, you could. You could. I mean, but of course, if it's developed, you'd rather go and see the place.
Sure.
But for new development, think about that. The experience, now, even with that state-of-the-art technology we saw, even that's not 3D.
Gosh, that's wild.
Although he did have a model.
Yeah, he did.
But I could see the use for virtual reality in very early stages of development, for sure. And I think that'd be cool. Ryan spent a lot of time on that. I'm sure Frederick and Luis are too,
Well, did you notice in the episode that Ryan had a commercial in there for some type of, I don't know, it's kind of odd. It's like Into the Future or some button or something.
It was a movie.
Yeah, but I mean, he was part of it. It was interesting.
It's cool. He's in a movie with Ben Stiller too. Did you know that?
No, he's in the movie?
He's got a short scene with Ben Stiller, yeah.
Really? As himself?
No.
Wow.
He's a character.
Huh. Well, he prides himself on he was on a soap opera at one time. Remember that?
Yeah, he's an
Well,
actor.
he may get out of real estate and go back to acting.
You never know.
You never know. That's right.
He may have lost his passion, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it.
I don't think so either, but sometimes when you think about it, because we saw the previews for next week and he's talking about proposing to Emilia. So, possibly when he gets married or whatever and starts children and all that, he may decide he wants to do something a little different that doesn't take quite as much time and make as much money, which would be acting or whatever.
Good.
And so, and then it was interesting what they showed about Frederick next week. The guy had called him and said, let's take the penthouse off the market. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, then we'll put it back on the market. Something I described to you a long time ago when a listing's not selling.
Was that next week?
It was just a preview. Sometimes they show them, down the road.
Are you sure? I thought that was this week.
No.
Okay.
It's at the very end.
Okay.
He was showing coming up, it said coming up or something, and he had those faces.
His funny faces, yeah.
His funny faces.
His faces are so funny.
But, he said, no, we don't need to take it off the market or whatever. And
okay.
the guy's saying, we'll take it off, and then we'll put it back, and it'll be new again, which is a strategy. It is a real estate strategy, because if you take it off the market for a month or 2 months or whatever, and then you put it back on, they consider it a new listing,
sure.
and people are, back on it again. So, the guy's trying to use that strategy, but it's more the price, I think, than anything else.
Leave it to your broker. Goodness.
Yeah,
Leave it to the pro.
But I think on that level, these people that own these properties, they expect miracles. I mean, they want it done now, and they want it done a certain way, and they demand it.
You're working with the #1 real estate agent in New York.
That's the other thing I wouldn't question. If he knows what he's doing, he knows what he's doing.
I mean...
But that was what was so nice about seeing the Jones, Dr. Jones and his wife. Was it last week with Luis? When, they were so nice about it not working out. I mean, they were very nice.
Yeah, well,
and it's nice to see people like that instead of like a seller demanding.
Yeah.
Because you're working together with the realtor. I wish these people didn't get, you're not dirt under their feet.
Well,
you are working with them. You want it to sell as much as they do,
You don't know how much is TV. Too.
Exactly. That too. That too.
A lot of people trying to...
But I have worked with some people that expected more than you could give.
Sure.
And you do as much as you can, and then you kind of cut your losses and say, look, I'm not a miracle worker. I can do what I can do with the market, and that's it.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. This TV show is right up Frederick's alley because he talks in his book about if he says successful people are allowed to be a little bit more dynamic or have a little bit more personality. Or
that's true.
Live a little less in reality, a little bit more.
That's true. That is true.
You're more of a...
You're a little bigger than life.
You're more... Yeah, right. And I think he used that exactly in his book. He says you're allowed to be a little bigger than life if you want to be successful because you're almost like a character...
Exactly. You're out
real
of the
life.
box. You're out of the box that most people live in.
You're right. And he says throw the box away. So I know he has enjoyed being on television because he can further be a character.
Exactly.
Which helps you in reality.
It does. He's making himself a brand.
Because it's appealing.
Yeah.
And if anybody has a career in acting, Ryan versus Frederick, gosh, Frederick's got more personality.
Well, you know where he started off. You remember.
I feel like Ryan's still a little conservative.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking maybe once he gets married, he might want to get back into soaps or do something that pays as much. But it wouldn't pay as much as what he's doing. But, you know, you never know.
Seems like he gets annoyed with the antics.
Yeah, I think I think the further he goes with his kids and family and gets involved with that, I think that's what he is looking forward to because he didn't have it growing up.
I think so.
And I think he's really, and she is awesome. I love her. I love her. I like her a lot better than you remember in Miami.
Great.
Who that girl was that he was marrying? Was it Chris? Not Chris. What was his name?
They were both Chris.
Oh, okay.
Chad.
Chad. Was it Chad?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking Chad Rogers again. But, yeah, Chad and that girl that looked like she had plastic face. I forgot what her name was.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm sorry. She looked like a really
Frederick says
doll.
apologize
like
in
a doll.
advance.
Like a doll. She had a very perfect face. Perfect face.
I do remember.
Anyway, this girl is more real. Amelia's just like you and me, you know.
Perfect.
I like her. She's very normal. She's very easy to talk to. She's not pretentious. She's a lawyer. I mean, she could.
Is that right?
She could be a lot
Tough.
different, but she's great for him. I think
got it
he's
going
lucky he
on.
found her.
I'm glad she kept her eggs.
All right, we need to find somebody like that for Luis.
Yep.
Somebody nice, Luis. We've got to get you somebody nice now that's really going to be sweet to you because you're a very romantic guy and you're a good dancer too.
He's
you know,
a confused man at the moment.
Well, I know right now he's trying to build his business, get to a certain level before he lets go a little bit and takes time for a relationship. But, you know, it does take time. It's just like anything else. Anything you don't pay any attention to is not going to grow. So,
Well, they're all doing great.
They are.
Don't be worried about your business not working.
I know.
And one thing that I hear all the time from people that have made it, they're doing what they love. They've done very well. They're well known for it. They always are asked in interviews if there's one thing you could tell your younger self when he's on the grind, when he hasn't made it yet, but he's working hard.
That's interesting.
What is it? Yeah, what is one thing you would tell to that person? And I've heard the most consistent answer, and almost every single person I've heard ask that question say the same thing. And it's don't take it so serious. Right?
Seriously.
Well, seriously, okay. Jeez. Speaking of serious,
so
let's
don't
make
take
sure
it so
we have the grammar
seriously.
Nazi. So, yes, just don't take it so seriously. Ruin the moment there. That was a dramatic moment.
I'm sorry.
Totally took that out of the show. Luis is taking life a little too serious, you know? I mean,
I agree with that somewhat, but you've got to get that momentum. You've got to get that.
No. See, there's a difference between focus and
It's hard to turn it off if you're pushing that hard like him. I think that's what I saw that night on the rooftop with him.
He was serious about his business.
I'm
though.
afraid if I get interested in you, I'm going to take my focus off where I want to be one day. And he's on the move up. He's not exactly where Frederick and them are, but that's where he wants to be. He's afraid if he takes his eye off that, he's going to lose the momentum he's built already.
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would being on the TV show. That's going to help him a lot. That's going to propel him a little bit more than a regular person walking down the street.
I would love to see Luis just be less
intense.
I like the intensity and the energy and the focus, and that's an integral part of the business. I just would like Luis to take a step back and say it's okay to try something new while I'm doing. Have a little fun while I'm doing the business, not just fun from the business.
I think he's trying though.
He is, but
that's why
he's
he had
not
that
allowing
girl come
himself.
Up there.
He's trying, but then he shuts it down and he says, "Okay, you have to go."
Yeah.
Right. And just don't take it so serious. But you do have to have some intensity.
That's a thin line to know when to stop because you get on that momentum and that roll, and it's hard to turn it off.
Yeah.
You go home and you're sitting there and you say, okay, now I've got kids and stuff, and I turn into a different person.
Well, it's like just don't let it consume you 100%. Just 90%. You know.
That's true.
Or Frederick got so down when he lost the listing a couple weeks ago, and Derek
And then
says,
got it back.
Derek said, yeah, he got it back. Derek says, what's the big deal?
Yeah, he did.
In the big picture, I mean, yeah, you lost it. You can be disappointed for a few minutes. What's the big deal, though? Because then he gets it back 6 months later. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit of pride, too,
It
at
is.
that point.
I don't
'Cause he
know. There's a
wants to
fine
be
line.
good.
There's a good thing you said.
It is. It's a fine line.
Because there is, but I thought that was interesting. One thing that most people say is don't take it so serious. And that applies in some situations, and it doesn't apply in others. So
Yeah, it's hard to know when you're in the midst of it.
You're right.
It's hard to see things.
yeah, you're right.
And it's easier when, 2020 is, in hindsight, is really real beneficial.
Right. Well, that was a good conversation, and I'm glad we had it because you can learn a lot from discussing things like that.
Yeah, and you learn a lot from other people, too. You
Yeah.
know, other people have experiences, and you learn from that.
Well, I'm proud of all of them. They're all doing a great
I
job.
am, too. It's a good show. Good show.
And I hope, Luis, you continue to learn about yourself and figure it out because I know you're new to it and you've got to go through it and experience it in order to learn how to manage it, work and life and everything about it. It's a big thing you're going through. And it
is.
It's
and
interesting.
they're all making some big decisions on their personal level.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, well, it's interesting
You know?
because Ryan and Frederick are both going through it a little bit before Luis.
Well, Luis has been a little behind them anyway.
That's right. And what I'm
So
saying
he's
is
getting to that point.
It's an interesting dynamic for the
Yeah.
show because
It is.
we're watching Luis grow too. And it's at a different pace
Yeah.
than Frederick and Ryan. So I've been enjoying it. What about you?
I just think they're all so cute in their own way. I just love Luis. I could just pinch his little cheeks. He's
Oh,
just
my
so
goodness.
cute. He's so
Oh, no.
cute. I just love
Okay.
him.
Rated
He's so
out of
sweet.
10. What do we give this episode?
Oh gosh, this was a 9. This is a definite 9. Oh, it's a good.
That's
one.
pretty. I don't know.
Oh, I love it because I think what drew me in more this week was more of the personal stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoyed more of the personal stuff. I did. And we kind of got to know Emilia better. We kind of got to know all of them a little better. And I liked it.
Good. All right. Well, I'll give it a
I liked it. Good
between
one.
an 8 and an 8.5.
Okay. Well, I really liked it this week. Good.
That's
Keep
good.
it up, guys. And
All right.
Luis, tweet us about the potential girlfriend.
Yeah, go back and take a look at those. So that'd
Yeah.
be good. All right. That's it for this week's episode of $1 Million Listing, episode 5 of season 4. And until next week, that was a good conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do too. It's good.
We will see you again. I hope you have a great week. Mm-hmm. And this has been me and Ree. We are the two that review for you. Until next week, have a good one.